Okay, good morning, everybody. It's Kale Casey here with my other lead information officer, Sam Harrel. You saw doing a brief the other night. We have some breaking news. We promised we'd cut in once we got word from Caltrans. So Caltrans put out a tweet and a statement on their map on their website, quickmap.dot.ca.gov. State Route 36 is now going to be closed. On the west side, you have the South Fork Mountain Road that Sam's pointing at right here. On the east side, 3 and 36. We have not been up there ourselves. Our operation chief just called down, John Glover, and said that the closure on the west was in at about 8 a.m. The east was still going in. We don't necessarily know if they're making the closure further back towards Hayfork on the first morning of the closure or further west. So we don't want to be telling you things that aren't happening for real up there, but we do know that at least from this area to this area is closed, and it could be even that if you try to come in, you'll get stopped farther out. We talked to Chief Astrid just a minute ago. She said some locals might be getting stopped farther out. So we'll wait as the day unfolds. We're going to be doing the operations off the road today, and Sam will start diving in here to let you know kind of where we're at with the firefight to the north. We want to make sure everybody understands exactly what we've been doing the last few days, how that plays out. And Sam, tell us a few of the resources that have been working up on, we'll start with the north side here to protect Post Mountain.
So up here where the crews are working, as the fire has dropped down into the Little Rattlesnake Creek drainage, it's kind of hung up in that drainage there. It's been protected from the wind and such. And so it hasn't grown very much towards the highway. But we've been able to take advantage of some really good burning weather. We had topography, the weather, and fuels aligned. And firefighters have been working hard to establish a burn line here to remove fuels ahead of the advancing fire so that it doesn't have fuel to burn through and build up a head of steam and get away from us.
So for Forks and Forest Glen, that's going to be east of Forest Glen, right?
East of Forest Glen. Forest Glen is right up here underneath all of our operation symbols on this map. And so this was successful last night. They observed it through the night shift last night, and it's holding well. And they're immediately going work today to bring fire on along the South Fork Trinity up here to milepost 18 on State Road 36 here. And once they make it to 18, they're going to start working along the highway, putting fire on the ground. And as the wind's coming around, forecasted for today, that's really going to help the firefighters out there. That's going to push the fire back on itself towards the main fire front. And what that's going to do is that's going to remove the fuel that's in between the main fire and the highway. And using the wind at our backs and the good dry fuels that are out there and the topography that's going to be working for us out here, we're going to be able to remove these fuels that are in between the fire and the road so that we can control a gradual approach of the main fire to the road. With that gradual approach, the key is that it's not going to cross 36. It's not going to challenge Post Mountain. It's not going to run through the woods and go to Hayfork. We want a very slow and deliberate movement of the fire here on our terms. And we've got crews in there. We've got the Lawson Type 2 initial attack crew. We've got a Type 2 hand crew, the Patrick crew. We've got an engine strike force in there, the Fabry Strike Force. There's 7 engines over here supporting this, half a dozen Dodgers, Skidgens, water tenders, and that's just in this area taking care of this. As we come on around over here, we've got the Type 2A IA Lone Stars in there, the Type 2A Trinity crew in there, wildfire module from Eagle Lake. There's a cadre of smoke jumpers in here. There's 8 engines working along the road. We've got nearly a dozen dozers. There's excavators, masticators, water tenders. Fallers are out ahead, moving trees and dropping trees that are going to be problematic. So we are really focused in here, and today is a key day. Tomorrow is going to be a key day before this weekend when there's critical fire weather forecasted. possible red flag on Sunday. So it's very important that we move the fire on our terms while we have the advantage and we have all of the conditions in our favor. It's going to be very smoky. There's going to be firefighters all along the roadway. This is why Caltrans and the county sheriffs are working with us to close down the roadway so that our firefighters can operate safely, so that the public is not in a heavy smoked area, not in there among firefighter traffic and firefighters. It's very important that people understand why it is we're doing this. This is a key move here. It's going to be a big day for us. Don't worry, as the fire's moving, or the wind's moving around and pushing on the fire, we do have engines and firefighters along this road system and dozer line over here. They were patrol and monitor out here where there's minimal fire activity. So we need those resources and we need the help on a fire critical day and weekend. And they're in position here. So Wildwood, rest assured, we know you're out there and we have plans in place should we start to move a little bit of fire that direction. Same firing tactics here to move it on our terms. We would utilize those over here if our hand is forced into it. But the key right now is to start this here so that the fire will not move to the north. We're not driving it to the north. We don't want it to go to the north. We want to take advantage of 36 here.
And so let's talk about the addition of more helicopters, because we've been getting new aerial firefighting resources added to our fleet every single day. I think we're up to about 11 or 12 helicopters now. We've been showing you on YouTube how effective they are when they pull water out of the reservoirs, Hobart Creek, Ruth Reservoir. If you haven't gone on YouTube yet, please check out the August Complex Fire 2020 YouTube page. Subscribe there. We have bulldozers pushing in safety zones. We have the hose lays around Post Mountain plumbed. You can see the firefighters patrolling that. They've been working on those the last couple days and reinforcing in case there's a spot fire. Now, Sam, there is a talk about
and
putting
don't forget about the single engine tankers. We've
Yep,
got two
that's
single seat tankers. They're a smaller fire boss is what they called, and they can scoop water out of Ruth Lake, and we have two of those assigned to our fire, and those are very effective for delivering large, repeatedly loads of water. They can also go to our retardant base and get retardant if we need to lay down retardant with those.
Yeah, and then for the helicopters, the Air Support Group Supervisor and
Yes.
Air Operations Director are going to put in a mobile retardant base right in the 3 to 36 area. What that means is you've been seeing videos of those big heavy helicopters with the snorkels going into Ruth Reservoir. They take about 45 seconds to a minute to draw water. Well, in a mobile retardant base, they can hover and lower into a huge tank, a couple 1,000-gallon tank. They can draw the retardant in. Then that retardant can be another tool to help slow the spread. Remember, it takes firefighters with tools mixing retardant and water to slow everything together. You don't just have a magic bullet where you use all the retardant in the world and the fire goes out. These trees are super dry. There's a bunch of fire scar trees in here. As the locals know, the blue fire burned in this area in 2015. That means there's dead and down everywhere. To some degree, that should help the firefighters, but that also means a lot of heat can hide under those trees. So you do need the boots in the ground. We are taking a tactical pause at 11 o'clock today because a hotshot from Big Bear passed away tragically on the El Dorado fire last week. Yeah. His name is Charles Morton. The entire firefighting community is taking a stand down at 11 a.m. Many single representatives from hotshot crews, both here in California and around the West, are sending a representative to the funeral down in Southern California. That was a firefighter who got separated from his squad during a burnout operation, the kind of burns we talk about that happened last night, where crews are working around the clock to protect your communities, to try to create deeper fuel breaks, to remove the fuel that could build up and jump and take out your home or your neighbor's home. So we're going to stand down today. We're going to recognize that on this fire, we had a 63-year-old female who passed away in her engine. Before our team got here, when the other teams were here, we've had fatalities with pilots.
There's been a helicopter crash this year that we've lost the pilot. There was a small engine tanker, a single seat tanker, a small tanker, just like we're getting here. One of those crashed here just last week, and we lost the pilot there. We Alaskans lost a team member in Alaska who works the ramp at our retardant base. COVID caught that individual. So we're feeling the pain, we're feeling the hurt through all of these losses. Charles's memorial service will be broadcast on the San Bernardino National Forest Facebook page today at 11 o'clock Pacific time, so you can tune into that and be a participant in that also.
The whole community, the whole Green Pants Nation really takes that seriously, and of course it's a huge loss for us. So when we talk about all the things we're doing to defend Post Mountain and Ruth and Hayfork and Forest Glen and Hettenshaw and Mad River and Wildwood and all the communities, our Wild Spike and all the ranches and private timber stands out here, we say that in a way that we know that our firefighters are exposing themselves every hour to gravity, to trees that could kill them, to a firing operation that could go bad, to a vehicle incident or injury. So we want to make sure that you're part of understanding that each of these actions has risk. There is no intention from this team to let this fire go around Post Mountain. Every effort has been made since we got here for days and days and days to catch it here. That's with all that risk calculated in that we could, in fact, have a serious injury or fatality trying to do this. It would be actually easier and safer for us to take a different stand and try to bring it around. That has not been the actions. There's been hundreds and hundreds of man hours, women hours, sweat, iron, all those private contractor, bulldozer operators, everybody working together to try to hold this thing right here.
It's extremely disrespectful, some of the rumors that we have been hearing on how we're letting the fire burn. You're herding the fire into Post Mountain. This is a community of human beings out here, and we're working our hardest in dangerous conditions to take care of everybody that can be affected by this and to take care of the forest and the counties and the people here. We really, really need your help to squash these rumors and spread the word about the hard work that is being put in out here.
It's going to impact the road for potentially days and days. We don't know how Caltrans and the sheriffs are actually going to do this over the course of the long haul. Let's just see how it plays out. We'll stay tuned to Caltrans. We'll be going to quickmap.dot.ca.gov. That's the site that we'll be checking throughout the day. You stay tuned. You're going to be hearing from your neighbors and friends the nature of the closure, how that affects you in your life. We gave you a couple days notice that we were going to need to work off the 36 road. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to start our information flow today. We'll come back live later today if need be, but just suffice it to say the road should be impacted for many days.
3 to 4, 5 days. Just be prepared. Pay attention to us. We're editing and producing Karen's morning update right now, and that will be posted. It was important that Kale and I jump in here live right now just to address some of these concerns and to let you know right now what's happening with the road. But stay tuned here. Karen's operational update is coming, and then we're going to stand down at 11 o'clock so that the memorial service can have free reign on the internet there. So take a pause with us at 11.
Thank you so much. And to everybody who has a firefighter on the line today, all the families out there supporting us, thank you. We know your sons and daughters are at risk, and the goal here is to get everybody home at night. Thanks.
Thank you.